people who in some way or another have been part of this ongoing time and growing this parish in so many ways. But today I would like to ask Mr. Jerry to conduct this wonderful evening which we are going to spend together for the next hour. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And to reiterate what Father said, thank you for being here. I think it's very important as a community that we have meetings like this, not only for the communication piece of it, but also for transparency. So I appreciate you all taking the time to be with us this evening. So in terms of the agenda, we're going to be walking through these aspects throughout the presentation. I'll do most of it. I'll call Father up for the stewardship piece. And then the most important piece is the last one, where your voice can be heard, give us feedback, ask questions, and the Finance Council here will all be here to try to answer those questions. So, as you heard, the Finance Committee is bringing this meeting to you. Here are the people on the Finance Council. If you guys could just stand up, just so everyone can see who you are. All the Finance Council. And the reason I'm asking them to stand is because if you have tough questions at the end, please ask them, not me. So, thank you very much. Okay. So serving our community. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go through some of the different ways that the parish contributes to the community. You'll see some data in here in terms of what our community is made up of and some of the work that we've done. So hopefully you can see that it's not too small. We currently have just over 1,700 registered families in our parish. Of course, you'll see in 2020 and 2021, the pandemic, COVID has had a big impact, and you're going to see that throughout all of this this evening through a lot of the financials. One of the pieces there concerning is that in 2020, 81% of the registered families were active in the parish, but only 64 this past year. Again, pandemic in terms of people participating and being active. This is a bit of, this for sure will be a bit difficult to see on the slides, but this is the sacrament. So over the past 12 years, the church has conducted 4,400 sacraments. And you'll see, let me use one here. So not a lot of weddings for sure, some confirmations just pre-pandemic, but you'll see 2021 it's down, and the green ones are the funerals. It's all trending again. And I don't want to repeat myself, but the pandemic has had a big impact on 2020 and 2021. Mass attendance. So this is kind of projected, but these are the various different Mass times for the different languages. You'll see here the Vietnamese Mass really picking up, and pre-pandemic attendance at church, and you've seen that the last few Sundays. It's been full, which is really, really nice to see. It's great to see we're doing everything we can to protect ourselves, and so it's nice to see that everyone is starting to come back to church. So for those people, especially during the years, I guess it is years of the pandemic, they were able to watch the Mass live on stream. Through the website. So this is a new website from the last time we met, which was a few years ago now. And there's tons of information. If you haven't been on there, please go take a look. You'll see the weekly bulletin is up there. Like I said, you can watch the live stream, get all the latest information, and there's also, you can make donations directly from there to the church. Now, one of the options when you do go into the donations is the pre-authorized giving, or as we call it, PAG. So this has been presented to the community before, so I won't get in depth, but it's really helping everyone make regular offerings to the church by having scheduled monthly transfers, either from their bank account or from their credit card to the church. And so the advantage there for parishioners is that it's very convenient to provide and support the church while you're not at Mass or away on vacation or whatnot. And again, it's a continual support of the parish programs and ministries. The advantage for the parish itself is that now we're having regular and predictable contributions. It reduces the cash that we have to deal with on hand. And of course, it's a reduction of paperwork because it's all electronics, all electronic rather. So right now, we're just, unfortunately, it was introduced, I think, the week before the pandemic hit. We closed down, so there wasn't a lot of attraction with that. Hopefully, it'll start to pick up again now that we're kind of back to normal. So right now, there's only 47 families that are registered for the PAG. But like I said, we're hoping for a lot more as we start to get back to normal. Okay, so let's. I'm going to take some time to go through the financial updates now. Again, in the spirit of transparency and to make sure it's everything that we're doing is being communicated to the parish. So, just a reminder, you're going to see income, and that's made up of the weekly Sunday offerings, donations for the sacraments, baptisms, weddings, and funerals, and the monthly maintenance fund. That's what you'll see as receipts in the next couple slides. In terms of expenses, you see them all listed there. Taxes, insurance, salaries, utilities for running the building, maintenance, all of that you and I have with our homes. It's the same types, although it's a lot more, to run a building like this as well. Keep in mind, 15% of all receipts go to the Archdiocese. And whenever we second collections during the Sunday Mass, that's not included in the parish income because those are directed towards the Archdiocese or whatever that program is that it's being collected for. So, the 17-year trend. So, overall, this is the past 17. Again, I apologize if it's difficult to read. We've gone down those last 2 years of the pandemic, but not as bad as one would think. And the parish does a great job of keeping balance between expenditures and income year over year. Now you're going to see in 2020 a lot of donations here, a lot of receipts, and that's because of the roof fund. So we're going to get into that in a second, but the reason why the green line is so high last year is that's because of the great generosity for their roof repair donations. So for 2021, for last year, the total revenue was just over $939,000. And what we have, so offertory and donations make up almost half of that. The building fund, 31%. And there were some government grants that we were eligible for and took advantage of, and that made up for 8%. In terms of expenditures, for last year was just over $590,000. Again, you see the top three expenditures there, and that's salaries, the assessment payment, that's that 15% of the revenue that goes back to the Archdiocese, and occupancy costs. Occupancy costs are what it takes to run this building, everything from taxes to insurance to utilities, all of that. The other piece for 2020 last year is that we have an excess from the Family of Faith Fund of $103,000 for the accessible doors, which was implemented a few years ago. The video projection system, which was also implemented, and that's what we see with the live stream with, and these screens here. And then resurfacing the parking lot. And so that's kind of the next one that's as a major project that we'll be talking about in a second or two. So let's talk about something that just took place, and that was the roof replacement. So again, the total project cost was almost $257,000. It was broken up into two phases, if you recall. It was the first phase was over the parish hall, so we don't see those big water buckets anymore. So that's good. That's all fixed. Was the roof over us right now in the church? So that was $256,719. That was the project cost. The donations, which we are very, very grateful for and thankful for, came out to $278,000, just over $278,000. And you see the breakout between church donations, PG, and some people went directly online, again through the website to make those donations. So we have an excess. If you look at those two, we have an excess of just over $21,000. But we still have a couple of related projects that are taking place right now. The air conditioning units were sitting on the roof. They had to be moved, and in some cases, some of the piping had to be repaired. So we're going to be taking care of that. Also, the ceiling tiles inside of the hall. If you've been in the hall lately, you'll see all the ceiling with water damage. So those have to be replaced, and as well as some of the drywall and paint on the walls is all bubbling because of the water, so that has to be repaired as well. So we'll use the 21,000 that we have extra from the donations for the roof to take care of those smaller projects, if you will. So once again, thank you to the community for those donations for the roof repair. Another thing that's taking place that you may or may not see are security cameras. So we had a number of surveillance cameras, as you can see, 28 cameras in total. You'll see the cost there of just over 19,000. This is one of the ones that we did apply for a government grant, and we're granted that. So that was a $10,000 grant for that. So the total expense, which has already been paid, is just over $9,700. To address signs on each side of the building, we thought it was important just to let you know that those were donated, so that there was no cost incurred for those signs. We thank the donor for that, but again, we thought it important to let you know that those signs were donated. So let's talk a little bit more about the drove or walked through some moon craters outside. It's our parking lot resurfacing. So long overdue. And again, the roof took priority again because you probably saw the water coming in, so we had to make a decision, and the decision was let's take care of the roof first before it does more damage. And now we're ready to do the parking lot now that winter is done with, knock on wood. So in terms of financials for when we first started thinking about doing this, and the quote for resurfacing only was $125,000. Now we're several years after that, so we imagine that quote will be somewhat higher. We don't know what it is, so we're in the process right now of obtaining a bunch of quotes to get the work done. What is also required is a survey, a geotech survey, where they'll bore holes into the parking lot, make sure that the grading is proper, and so that the work is done properly. We don't want to do a job where you just come in and resurface it, an investment. So it's going to be done properly. So that survey is going to be around $25,000, which is really good because initially it was going to be $50,000, and we found a way to have it done for $25,000. So we're expecting in total for the whole project to cost in and around $200,000. If there's anything left from the excess roof fund, we'll contribute it towards that. And as I talked to you about earlier, we do have some family of faith funds, just over $100,000 that will contribute to this as well. So yeah, more to come once we get the quotes on what it's going to cost. Then we'll start to communicate that and look for further donations. Some of the other projects, we talked to you about this a couple years ago as well. We never got to it, is the brick repair crumbling and need to be restored. And so that we think will cost $50,000. Again, we have to get it all re-quoted because the first time we quoted was several years ago. And then another thing, if you even just look around yourselves now, the pews need to be refinished. You'll see a lot of that varnish is wearing off. A lot had to do with during COVID, we were doing a lot of cleaning, a lot of extra cleaning, and so that puts wear and tear on the pews. So that's something else we have to freshen up. Don't know how much that's going to cost, but that's another project on our priority list that we want to look at. And not so much a project, but a little bit of celebration and community building is our 50th anniversary celebration. Once again, had to be put off because of the pandemic, but lo and behold, it looks like we have that we're looking to do this, the celebration. It's also the feast of St. Jane Francis, so no coincidence there at all. And we want to break it out. We want to have one of those days or some social celebration as well as a spiritual celebration throughout that weekend. So definitely more to come on that, but we need to put together a celebration. So if you or any other parishioners are interested in contributing in that sense and being part of that planning committee, there's a meeting on Tuesday, May 10th to kick that off. So I would ask you, and like I said, tell your friends in the parish if they want to help out as well, please come out. Or not. and really the stewardship part is we really need you to, as you can see in the quote there, Christ has no body except for ours, our eyes, our heart. Christ has entrusted us to give time, talent, and treasures to do this and participate in the church. So we're all called to be active in the parish. We're asking all. We need help. You probably see the same faces every time you come here. We need more and more people to come out to the parish and help out. So, Father, I don't know if you have other words, because after that is.
If we have to listen to what St. Paul says about the membership, he simply takes the actual body, the physical body, and says that so many parts in the body, the heart, the mind, the fingers, whatever, and he calls them members. But still, at the end of the day, it's still called one body. And I must say I am blessed for our parish, not just for me, but for the previous pastors who have always found the people who have dedicated themselves to be serviceable to the parish. And I suppose, again, the word steward, if we look at it as what I think it's J.F. Kennedy said, ask not what the world can give you, but what he can do for the world. I think it's J.F. Kennedy said, right? And I think it's the same thing for us, for our parish. Many times, when you look at the potentiality that our parish has, and I'm not talking about age, because we do understand that our parish is one of those aging parishes, but still, I do always understand that we all have something to give. Maybe not 100%, but even that 1%, which is very important to the parish and the sense of belonging. In our parish, many times when I call for something, you might have the same person in all, whether it's in the finance committee, whether it's in the other committees, it's always the same people, always the same. But it's not fair upon these people when we see that there are other people who can. And there are many things that you can be, especially in our own parish. Earlier on, Jerry said that this house, this home, is as much as yours, because bills come here and everything runs like an ordinary home. And there are a lot of times that you can be serviceable to your home, and you can be serviceable even. This has to be understood that this is your home. I mean, when we look at the times that we have been here, myself at least, we move. One pastor comes, the other one leaves, Friars come, friars leave. But you remain here because this belongs to you. And that's why we also have to be grateful to each and one of us within our capacity, within our limits, that we can be of service to the church. And the many times that we call out for any volunteers, my throats are dry, but I don't know what more I can do. When you see even the participation of what a volunteer is or what he or she could do, being selective, 20 at 8 o'clock and nobody at 12:30. You can have a moment where one can understand that we could be sharing, because stewardship Another word is also a sacrifice. A sacrifice means when I commit myself, I commit it, not for the benefit of the church. And of course, being part of it, one should be obviously grateful for such talents that the good Lord might have given him or put into practice. To be a volunteer, to be anything that should, help you to be part of the church, it's always, there must be a core. A core. Each and one of us should have this core. And this core is that, first of all, you have to have love and you have to have prayer. Superiority over the parishioners. No. Actually, it's the other way around. When we read the Gospel on Holy Thursday, what did Jesus do? He took off his cloak, put on an apron, and washed the feet of his disciples. And this is what he asked. He said to them, "You call me master, and so it is. But what I did, I want you to do it for others." And that is what the good Lord is calling each one of us to be of service within the parish. And there are many things, many places where one can. And I'm not saying it's just a Sunday collection or Escher, which are good. Actually, we need more. But then there are other things, as much as I said earlier on, who are listening. If you who might be watching through live streaming, you could use your talents in the church, like electrician, plumber, painter, gardener, whatever it might be. And I'm sure, and I will promise you, there's a sense of satisfaction because you are not only giving and putting practice what you have for the benefit of the church. At the end of the day, you might say or might hear somebody say thank you, or you might see that nobody even recognizes. But I know the good Lord says to us, let not your left hand know what your right hand is doing. Or also he says, you don't need to sound your trumpets. Because what the good Lord says to us, what you do hidden, it will be brought up to, and shown to others. But what are we asking? We're only asking, as a committee, as a parish, we are only asking that you put to practice the gifts that the Lord has given you. And obviously, again, the many talents that we have, we, even financially, if I may say so, could save a lot. We all know, and I'm 100% what the pandemic has brought and what has made us do, the sacrifices. But then when you see what we did even within the pandemic itself, and we see the great generosity of the parishioners, something we didn't even dream of doing it so fast. But money is another thing. Money is important, but that's one thing. But we need manpower. And manpower is what makes us alive. We can see people, and people can see us. They might, be attracted to what you are doing and may join. So again, the many parts in which the church has, it's a long list. Starting from ushers, lectors, Eucharistic ministers, organizing committees. There's a lot. So I ask you, or you might know somebody else, to invite them, especially now that we are going to celebrate, okay, even if it's late, let's say it's in English, better late than never. We're celebrating the 50th anniversary for the foundation of the parish. And it takes a lot of work. It's going to take a lot of energy. And I do not expect, to be honest with you, do not expect that the entire event will be on the shoulders of those only in the office and the few around. So May 10th, come to the meeting and see how we can evolve to make this reality, this celebration, the 50 years of the parish, foundation of the parish, to be spiritual, why not socially? We've all been through the restrictions of not being able to even hug each other or touch each other or whatever. But now we have the possibility of celebrating. Let's do our best. Let's do our best. And therefore, yes, don't worry, our abilities will be recognized and will be appreciated. And therefore, again, use all the possessions that you have, the gifts from God that were asked to care and to generously share. Place God first by graciously sharing our possessions as the needs of those around us demands. Take a portion of the treasure that we have received, return it to God in spirit of gratitude. And that's where, again, the story of the parable of the talents come to us. So therefore, God's words were not just for those times, relevant today, especially when you hear the committee here at the service, in which we know that we have it. This is a powerful way of showing we truly believe that we all have been given to us by God. Paul said, Christ is the head of the church, and we are his body. If we tend to be passive, if there's no interest, but if you put yourself, your heart, your mind, your body, that is where God is in you. And certainly those possessions in which we have, like St. Paul says, that we are only tools in the hands of God. That's what Paul says about himself. I'm nothing. I'm only tools in the hands of God. And that's what we are. Let God use us. Let God use us for the benefit of our parish. And this way, and I'm going to be honest with you, nobody can say that we are not inviting. We've been asking, we've been inviting. This is one step. And I'm sure that you will be welcomed, whatever you might be given, you'll be welcomed to be part of the committee for the parish, which needs. It needs people to take care of one thing. It needs people to take care of another. Because many times, can cover everything, I'm sure, and I'm one of them. I might miss something. And people won't say what you did. They say what you missed. Huh? That would be more. So, and of course, one person would then get the blame for nothing. Let us all, like a chain, right? Link by link. Pull it on one side to come forward, especially on the 10th of May, to program ourselves to have a wonderful and a well-deserved celebration, 50 years, like any other celebration, wedding celebration, 50 years, it's a milestone, and even for us. And many of us, many of you, who have seen this church from the foundation. Actually, there was nothing first, but you saw it growing. You have given all. People tell me how much they knocked on doors to pick up, to collect money. You've done it. Oh, don't stop there. Like any homes that we all have. You all have homes. You don't just build it and say this. You painted it, certainly you did. You did some modifications of your homes, you certainly did. And likewise, the church needs that as well. And the modification need that the church is still here for us. And hopefully, again, I will stop here. I will invite you on the 10th May to see where we can organize ourselves socially and spiritually to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the parish. And now, the most important thing is, does anybody have any questions? And answer your questions. I'm sure there's something you direct. I'd be more than happy even to take over, the blame or whatever it might be. I might apologize. I will have any questions. Yes, Mr. Simonetti. Oh, you want the microphone? Better. If I'm not able to answer the question, the committee here might stand in my place as well.
Yes, I have a question, a little bit expensive.
Expensive.
So
Oh, I don't.
I'm making a request that if we can have a couple of microphones at the choir, because the number is always down.
Okay. Yeah.
So
okay.
We need some help, if that's possible.
I will answer that question for you.
Thank you.
Okay, I will answer the question. I know you asked for it. You did ask for it last what do you call it? General meeting, right? But then whatever. First and foremost, you have to understand. You would like. Which is rightly, of course, like you said, the number of cantors are going down and be amplified. You are quite right. But if I may say so, the situation here in the sound system, which is an analog, which can only take so many microphones, which we have already exceeded on this premises, and somebody can give you, he can second what I'm saying. There should be only 4 here, but we have exceeded when next to the organ, over here, it is, what do you call it? It's cut off. Now, you can explain to him. You can tell him that you feel,
Yeah, when there's a microphone plugged in over there, it shorts out the other microphone inputs.
Yeah,
so that's how antiquated the system is.
Yeah, so that means that you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and outside 7. We have exceeded. So we need people for the fundraising committee. One of the important, volunteering, which I know it takes a lot of energy, it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of courage as well. But again, it's something that yes, could be put on the table or on the table. Maybe we can also have. Okay. Oh, certo, scusa, ok. Vuoi che faccio in italiano? Sì, sì, ok, calcola. Allora, stiamo chiedendo se Justin ha chiesto... Ho la tua idea. Vuoi fare... Ok, no. No, no, fallo, poi we'll translate. Ok, sì. Italiano, italiano. No, è acceso? Is it on?
Sono qui dal 71, perciò la chiesa è stata fatta nel 4 cominciare. E da adesso non ho che parole buone di ringraziamento per tutta la chiesa per quello che è stato fatto da principio fino a oggi.
Aspetta.
Una cosa importante, ok.
He's been here since 1971, and of course he says he's got nothing to say except praising the progress until today.
Che mi dispiace tanto è che ogni tanto sento dire cose contro la Chiesa, nel senso di dire il prete ha fatto questo che non doveva fare, ha fatto quest'altro, perché non vengono le persone a dirlo personalmente alla persona diretta invece di mandarli in giro con altri messaggi sbagliati.
Okay.
Chiudo, grazie mille.
Okay, so he feels that many times things are said outside the circle where it would be more to the pastor or whatever, and you know, just so many times, yes, è così. So yeah, we try our best to. That's why I said, that's why we called this meeting, and it's important that if something has to say something, he says it. Come to the office. Face the person who is responsible instead of saying things and that's which is wrong. Michele, tu sei parte della, come si dice, della mobile, no? Della chiesa. Yes. I'm
Is the parking lot going to be worked on this year, or are we just getting quotes for this year?
Hopefully it's this year. Hopefully it's this year. I understand. No, the quotes, we're going to work on it as soon as possible. Many times the people whom we are connected with, okay, he has already sent us the person to do what you call it, a quotation for then we can go ahead. Obviously, we need to get the quotes. We were going to ask the same people what their difference would be between 2019 and 2022. Again, I'm rest assured that it will be done. It will be done. Don't worry. It will be done. Yeah. Anybody else? Obviously, yes. We have to look at the parish. As much as we see it aging, we do have a potentiality of younger families. So I am asking today, and I ask every day, but more especially today as a general meeting, is to those families to come forward, especially now that their children are going to receive confirmation, they're going to receive the communion. We need to take this, need to take this idea of a cosmetic, something that is part of but not practicing. So if we can, and I ask parents, if we can get you here in the church, because you are the future of the church. So it's important also, parents are just running out from, from the hall, rushing out, instead of coming, we do a mess. But we need, I'll call it, loving and caring and convincing. So that's another thing important to, yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't know if we can close here, since we don't ask questions after. No. Actually, I do remember last time, which I still have, questions which were only 12 questions in the, what do you call it, in the suggestion box. And most of them, I guess the best thing is to bring out again the suggestion box. We'll leave it in the foyer, and we would summarize what we've just heard today from Jerry and all of us here, and we will, at the Sunday after, we can, what do you think, summarize and ask, maybe we can have a few feedback from them, right? So, let's stand. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Dear Lord, we thank you for this wonderful moment in which we, as members of the Francis Parish, for many of us new, for many of us old, but it's still that we belong to this parish. Thank you for this wonderful moment in which we have been informed and being grateful for the past. We thank you for what we are living today, and dear Lord, help us to be better in the future. And as we turn to our Heavenly Mother, intercession to intercede for us with all these intercessions we have in our hearts and for our parish. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou amongst women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Glory be to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit. The Lord be with you. May Almighty God bless you, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Before I close, I would like to once again thank the Finance Committee. Jerry was presented today, but it's like when we go and watch, what do you call it, theater. There are many people behind the scenes, and I would name them not because they merit, but it is the right as well. So Patricia and Joseph, who were our bookkeeper. We have Tambul, he's not here, right? And Angelo, of course. So, but Marina at the back, and even the moments that we met through pandemic, even though through Zoom or whatever, but we managed because the interest of the Finance Committee and the pulse of our parish. So once again, thank you for your sacrifices, which again, thank you. May the Lord reward you for what you do for the parish. Thank you. Have a wonderful evening, everybody. Hello.